This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore! Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Hey guys, welcome to the WWE Podcast. It is Sunday, June 9th, 2024. This is the Week in Review, our flagship show for the week, and thank you so much. I'd like to welcome some brand new members over there on the Patreon side of things. Kathy, you've joined us over the last day or so. We've had, Noré the second has also joined us, and let's see, I think that's it. So couple people joined us over the last couple of days. I thank you so much. And you can get everything ad-free over there at patreon.com/WWE podcast and join them. All right, guys, Clash at the Castle is already 6 days away. It is here. It is already time for a preview and prediction show week. So we've got a wall-to-wall wrestling content coming your way this week with previews, predictions. Obviously, we have the mailbag, which, by the way, has kind of been moved to Fridays. I think for all intents and purposes, the mailbag has moved to Fridays. You know, you can still send in your questions, but, you know, I think we've kind of landed on a Friday for the mailbag, just the way that things have fallen with my schedule. And the current state right now is on a bit of a hiatus. In its place, we'll play some old wrestling nostalgia shows for you. So for Mondays, we're going to be doing a wrestling nostalgia throwback. It's kind of a, repetitive term, but we're going to take nostalgia shows that I've done and just replay them from years ago. And many of you haven't heard them, so I think that'll be a fun replacement for the time being, temporarily. Anthony will still be bringing you the After Dark show. That's going to be moving probably to the middle of the week or so. So we're shuffling things around. You're still going to get the same content, but just in a different order. But nothing is changing with Week in Review. Obviously, the Monday is a Nostalgia Now. Tuesday is your Raw review. Wednesday may be a bit of a lull week if you don't have the Patreon side of things, because then you won't get the After Dark show that's exclusive to patrons. So, all right, well, let's talk about it. Let's get to this week in WWE as we get a massive match for the WWE Championship. AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. I Quit match coming to you at Clash at the Castle. And for all of my criticism of Cody Rhodes and his babyface character that you guys have heard ad nauseum, I really don't have much bad to say about this. AJ Styles is coming across perfectly as a heel. He's got his backup in Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, the Good Brothers. He has layers of security protecting him. Cody was waiting for him outside of the building and then inside the building and then searching for AJ. AJ says he's not going to get what he wants until I get what I want, and that's a shot at the WWE Championship. And that's exactly what Cody said he's going to do. And then he said that, we're going to make you say I quit. So you can pretty much lock it up, though, that there is a 0% chance of Cody Rhodes saying I quit. It would completely be in contrast with everything he's ever talked about ever with his character. It would make no sense. So you can lock it up and throw away the key. One weird way or another, AJ Styles is not winning this match, and then Cody Rhodes is not losing it. Now, I shouldn't say losing it or win. Well, no, I can say that because it's no DQ. I was thinking they'd have a screwy finish where Cody could still lose and keep the belt and that kind of thing, but it's no DQ. So AJ should say I quit, and then we'll move on from AJ Styles and Cody Rhodes. I shouldn't gloss over how good this match is probably going to be. We saw how good their last one was. AJ Styles looks like he's in phenomenal shape, pun intended, I guess, in maybe the best shape of his career. Randy Orton, of course, is floating out there. Randy Orton is MIA for the time being, so we'll see when he returns. But I think that it's definitely a Cody victory here. Early spoiler. That's really spoiling no one's predictions, because if you really think AJ Styles is winning this match, you just you probably haven't been watching wrestling for very long. But you expect a very good match. You expect a moment or two where AJ may have the opportunity to win. He might put some doubt in even the most hardcore fans' minds. And if they do that, great. Crowd should be super into this. They don't have a vested interest when it comes to hometown hero like they do with a Piper Niven or a Drew McIntyre, but they do have two guys that are respected worldwide, and I think that they're going to be a hell of a program. And should be the finale, but also I want to give credit where credit's due. I mean, Cody Rhodes' character this week did not come out and make me want to throw my phone out the window. Okay, he showed some fire. He didn't just come out of his tour bus with his dog in his suit and smile at everyone and fist bump everyone and make sure he says hi to the cameraman and says hi to the janitor and says hi to the makeup crew and says hi to the producers and says hi to the ring announcers and says hi to the ring crew, the ring production crew and the area. Like, thank God. Okay, like that was the right call. Cody Rhodes came out in normal clothes and just wanted to kick ass, and I appreciate that. That's a Cody Rhodes that doesn't make me want to gouge my eyes out. That's a Cody Rhodes that makes sense in my mind. That's the Cody Rhodes that needs to show a little bit more of that edge to him than such, this soft feminine champion we've seen for so long. And, it's been 60 days since Cody Rhodes has won that championship. And I think it's been a fine run. It's been okay since he won the belt from Roman, nothing overwhelming. And it's post-Mania, so you can't have too high of expectations, especially that close to WrestleMania concluding. But it's been I think a kind of okay run, and now we're starting to see Cody fire up, and now we're starting to see also the product fire up a little bit with some massive impending returns that will shake things, as they say, to their very foundation. And one of those, as I transition, is to Roman Reigns. One of the most anticipated returns in WWE's recent memory. He's only been gone for 2 months. It feels like 2 years. With what Solo's done, Tama Tonga Loa, maybe Jacob Fatu on his way, or maybe The Rock on his way to join Solo. And maybe, if you noticed, when Solo said he was taking orders from the tribal chief, or was it Tama Tonga saying that? I think maybe he wasn't talking about Solo Sikoa. He could have been talking about The Rock, or maybe he was talking about Solo and didn't mention him by name, but just by his title of the assumed tribal chief. I mean, there's a lot of hierarchical things going on here, storyline-wise, and who's really at the top, who's really calling the shots here. Paul Heyman has been the key to all of this. Why? Because Paul Heyman hasn't spoken much, apparently, with Roman Reigns. You have Solo, who has assumed control. Paul Heyman has the best interest of the bloodline at heart, but is still solely focused on the Roman Reigns character, and his character is synonymous now with the tribal chief and the wise man to the tribal chief, which is Roman Reigns. So Paul Heyman is clearly struggling here, struggling emotionally to still remain loyal to the bloodline, but also know that what's going on is probably not things that Roman would actually want to have happen, knowing he's probably being lied to by Solo Sikoa. So Paul Heyman is in a very stressful place right now, being threatened by the bloodline, but wanting Roman Reigns to come back. We all do. It's crazy as that sounds, right? Roman Reigns is a babyface instantly here. Mega babyface instantly. So we have a really hell of a storyline building here. One that I think is going to have implications over the next 12 months. This is not something that's going to be paid off at SummerSlam or even paid off all the way to WrestleMania. I think it could go beyond that as we see different iterations of this. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, it will probably be over at WrestleMania, but it could go beyond. Every time we think the Bloodline storyline is concluded, they throw another version at us. So I think that this could go on another 6 to 12 months minimum when it comes to the Bloodline and different variations of it. This is not the Nexus versus the Core. For those of you that even know what the hell I'm talking about, think back to, was it 2010 when the Nexus debuted and Wade Barrett was there and Heath Slater, and I remember all that, and John Cena took him out, but then I think there was a break-off crew of the Core that lasted about 10 seconds. Anyway, this is not that, for those of you old enough to remember that. This is a true, I think, storyline in its respect to what the Bloodline is and means and what's happening behind the scenes. And there's some big names, obviously, that are going to come back, with The Rock also floating out there, with Roman Reigns. When do they come back? How do they come back? That remains to be seen, but we're getting closer. It's not going to be too much longer. Roman Reigns is probably on his way back before The Rock. And there's Survivor Series War Games implications for this, with Roman Reigns' OG bloodline versus The Rock's new savage bloodline. Eventually it's going to be The Rock versus Cody. That was teased before The Rock went away after WrestleMania. And then, of course, you have Rock versus Roman. That, for the love of God, has to happen. So there are so many things that have not happened yet along, and also the return of Jimmy and Jey Uso. They've been MIA. So, guys, things are going to heat up. Things are going to get real fun when Roman returns. And here's a quick idea of what I think is going to happen. That Solo is going to pretend to embrace Roman upon his return. Maybe it'll be announced. Maybe it won't. And then Solo and Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa are all going to viciously beat down Roman Reigns. And maybe that's when Jimmy and Jey show up. Or maybe it takes a week or two before Jimmy and Jey show up. And maybe they somehow... And I would think they do it slowly. And the reason I would want them to do it slowly is it makes sense. Where Roman gets beat down. Then Jimmy, who has been, for the most part, on the side of Roman, even when he shouldn't have been at times, storyline-wise, it made no sense. Jimmy will be, and then Jimmy and Roman get beat down, and then here comes Jay the next week or the week after to help his brother, who gets beat down viciously. And then there's your 3-on-3 tag team match that could take place at SummerSlam, or it could just be Solo versus Roman at SummerSlam. So there's some fun iterations coming in, and a reuniting of the Bloodline is something I talked about last year. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm really not. It's just, it makes sense that you would have at some point a babyface version of the Bloodline, and we've got it without them even saying a word. It's amazing, isn't it? They haven't said a word. Roman has said nothing. Jimmy has said nothing. Jay has said nothing. When I said that Jimmy and Jay had disappeared, obviously Jay hasn't disappeared, but the tag team of Jimmy and Jay has been gone for a while. But Jimmy's been MIA. I misspoke there. But it's going to be fun. And how does Jay respond? And how does Jay make his way over to SmackDown, by the way? How does that happen? Do we just violate brand rules and not care? Is there a trade announced? Does he get a special pass from the SmackDown GM, Nick Aldis? Or from Adam Pearce? Or from the board of directors? I mean, how does this happen where Jay is able to kind of cross over and help his comrades when the time comes? So I know I'm projecting out quite a bit, but this is what's on the table for us. Even though it's the Bloodline, it feels brand spanking new. And I think it's going to be a blast as we get into the SummerSlam season and beyond. Once SummerSlam hits, man, we are off to the races. We are off to the races. So I can't wait. All right. Bayley this week also got a little bit of a promo time, and I was excited to see her come out and see some recaps of what's been going on in her career and her run. And I'm thinking, all right, they're gonna give her some time. Bayley comes out, says about 5 words, and I'm like, how is she getting cut off right now? She hasn't had a good promo. They haven't given her at least time to cut a good promo in how many damn weeks, and they cut her off. I was like, are you kidding me? But you did have Piper Niven, who I think had a career promo. Now, that doesn't mean it's automatically the best of all time. No, it's just for her standards, one of the best promos. Calling out Bayley, saying, you don't know me. That I'll be in front of my hometown, and I'm going to take everything from you. And she just had some really good lines. Piper Niven, who used to be known, for those of you that remember, known as Dewdrop under the Vince McMahon regime. Boy, has she come quite a long way, has she not? I mean, my God, it has been quite a while since we've seen Piper Niven in this capacity. So that was really nice to see when it comes to Bayley and having a real opponent here. And you saw some concern on the face of Bayley. I think that they did a nice job here and really put some fear into Bayley. So we did get a confirmation, though. It's Piper Niven versus Bayley for the women's championship at Clash at the Castle, which will be fun. So credit to Piper Niven, though, she cut a very nice promo. Bayley did what she needed to do, although I still need to hear and want to hear more from her. It's been too long since we've kind of got an update from Bayley. She's been generally quiet on the mic. They need to give her just 5 minutes to talk. Just 5. So now Chelsea Green, who continues to play her role very well, is always enjoyable. While I don't agree with a lot of what she says outside of wrestling on her social media accounts, almost nothing. She did decide to make her. Now here we go. I'm going to piss off some of you guys, but it's true. She decided to wear, a scantily clad outfit out to the ring to make sure that she accents her legs and her other body parts. And you know what? Look, she's worked hard for her body. Congrats. But this is what I'm talking about. Like, no, she can wear what she wants. Yeah, sure, she can. Absolutely. You can wear what you want, but there are consequences. And, well, I don't know if consequences is the right word. There are certain reactions that are going to be elicited from whatever you desire to wear. All right. And I think Chelsea Green, while she is an attractive woman, sure, great. But you are objectifying yourself, and you are, whether you think you are or not, or you pretend you are or you're not, or you think you're some kind of girl boss, you can do all of that. You can't supersede hard wiring in men's heads. For a straight man, you can't do it. You're objectifying yourself, and there's just no two ways about it. You do what you want, right? Do whatever you want, but you guys know. You know I'm right. You know I am correct. For straight men out there, when you see this, you're just like, you're distracted by it, and you're not even paying attention to like what she's saying. You're just distracted by her outfit because science, biology. So sure, be a girl boss, wear what you want, but then don't complain when men are not giving you the desired attention that you so desperately want. So. And whatever. So I just angered some of you, but it's just truth. And truth these days, I guess, is demonized. Or it's just what you think. No, it's not. Okay, so talk to any straight man who's looking at that. They're lying to you. If they say, I don't even pay attention. Nonsense. BS. So, again, I do enjoy the Chelsea Green character. I have been a fan of hers. I don't agree with nearly anything, any of her positions outside of wrestling. But I think she's a valuable character. She is entertaining. She's made me laugh many, many times. Her Royal Rumble stint was a lot of fun. So I'm very complimentary of her work in ring. So I can have two things be true at once. So, but a lot of what so for those of you that don't like me or don't like what I just said, you heard me say women should wear conservative clothing so men don't look at them as sex objects. It's exactly what some of you heard, right? But hey, I'm kind of going in this policy lately of like IDGAF. For those of you that follow that acronym, whatever. I just kind of speak my mind. If I lose listeners, I lose listeners. This is the way I feel. Like I am a proponent of women's wrestling. I want it to move forward. I have said this, and I know I use Rhea Ripley's outfit and her comments in the past, and I stand by them 3,000%. I'm not backtracking in the least. But then you have, more and more examples pop up, and social media doesn't help with, the wrestlers posting things that are simply nothing other than, hey, look at my body and how good it is, how good it looks. That's all it is. Which the men do it too, but it's a man's sport, right? So like the men are watching this and saying, aren't looking at this, and it's not apples to apples. Like where men are in tights, how come women can't be? Okay, well you're in a male dominated viewership. Like the key demo is still 18 to 40 males. Predominantly it's straight men, and they're not interested in seeing, or when they do see men in tights. First of all, that has been how men have competed in sports forever. Okay, like that's how a lot of athletes dress. And also, when you see women in that, for a male dominated viewer, it's not the same thing. You don't think about it the same way. So it's not apples to apples. But all right, well, I'm going to go on a tirade or lose listeners. Either way, hey, that's how I feel. But let's move on. We have, let's see. Carmello Hayes versus LA Knight. And that match, they kept teasing each other back and forth backstage, and LA Knight's been on a tear to find Logan Paul, and he hasn't been able to. And Logan Paul did respond, kind of funny. We'll get to that in a minute too. But Carmello Hayes is, botched his promo last week. LA Knight botched his promo a little bit this week too. So they've been trading botches, not on purpose. But this ended with LA Knight beating Carmello Hayes in just about 9 minutes after he rolled him up. And it was after a reversal of a roll-up, so Knight did use the tights, but also Carmello did try to use his tights, so he just did tit for tat, and Carmello ends up losing the match. LA Knight still continues to get big pops, man. LA Knight continues to get that megastar treatment, and you do wonder if maybe his opportunity has come and gone. It just, when you look forward, it's just his opportunities don't seem to be fitting in with the current story, right? You have Cody Rhodes, a babyface champion. You have the Bloodline, whose impending, targeting of Cody is probably imminent. And when you have a babyface who you want as champion, typically the standing current champion is not a babyface; they're a heel, so the babyface can chase the heel. So it's not looking good for LA Knight to ascend to that level, which is why he's facing the United States Championship, or going to be eventually facing Logan Paul for the United States Championship. That's coming. Now, on to Logan Paul's response to LA Knight. I do like Logan Paul, and I think he is somebody who should not have any business catching on this quick and being this good this fast. He just doesn't have that much. He should not be this good. So credit to him. But his comment about LA Knight going back to the mid-card, bruh, the U.S. title is the mid-card by definition. So, yeah, I mean, just a little bit of lack of self-awareness there. I just, again, didn't make me angry or anything. It's just a little bit of, do you realize what you just said? Do you realize like the U.S. title is probably upper mid card viewed as, right? So sure. LA Knight goes back to the mid card, but Logan Paul is a delight to watch. He is in the ring, on the mic. He continues to improve. Logan Paul is as good as advertised and often better. And I love how he's not there every week. I did not say that about Roman. Roman was a different animal. It was also the top championship. I think this is going to be a fun program that, you know what? LA Knight could win. LA Knight could become your new United States champion because, as I said, the WWE championship landscape is not ripe for the picking for LA Knight. The positioning of his character, the position of the championship, the position of the future opponents for Cody just don't line up, and those names aren't LA Knight. Now, LA Knight may be in some kind of tournament, or he might be thrown into a fatal four-way or whatever. here and there if he doesn't win the U.S. title. But let's be honest, he's not probably positioned to win right now. And maybe we're looking to 2025 for any kind of serious contention. So those LA Knight fans, hang on. It'll eventually happen, but you can, quote unquote, settle for the United States Championship. There's really no shame in that game. But, okay. What else did we get? We got, we did get the main event. We'll get to that in a minute. Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller. And this ended with Grayson Waller beating Johnny Gargano in 8 minutes and 12 seconds after hitting a flipping unprettier in the ring and got the victory. Now, there was a moment in that match that looked like a reverse pile driver / tombstone or Canadian destroyer, and they were making a big deal about it. I mean, it is a dangerous move. I know why they banned the pile driver. It's an unnecessary risk that doesn't lend itself to have to really be a risk worth taking, given the payoff, which would just be the crowd going, "Whoa!" Meanwhile, you're within an inch of becoming a paraplegic. So I get it, but I also do, and you guys, I would think, agree. I miss the pile driver. I'm not talking about the tombstone. I'm talking about a good old fashioned pile driver. I miss it. Like Shawn Michaels could execute it to perfection, and he is so good at it. But every now and then, I would love to see a pile driver, just like a chair shot. If there's a safe. See my word I'm emphasizing, repeating, way to do it. I would advocate for it, both chair shot and chair shot to the skull. Yes, not to the back, not to the midsection, to your head. If there was a safe way, I would advocate the hell out of it. Same with the pile driver. I do miss pile drivers every now and then, because when you see somebody trying to perform a move on their opponent outside the ring and it looks like they're lifting them up for a pile driver, you know there's a 0% chance they're going to execute it because they don't allow that move. But this move that was done here to Grayson Waller from Johnny Gargano was very impressive. And it also did make you kind of flinch a bit. Like, wait a minute, what did we just see? Even the announcers, Corey Graves, is like, whoa. You know, it's sometimes it is a little scary because you literally are within, this much. I'm making an inch with my fingers. This much of becoming paralyzed or dead. So I totally understand why it's banned. So, all right. After the match, though, Waller celebrated while Theory recovered and looked angry at the outside after Waller betrayed him. In the back, Nick Aldis approached Cody with security and blah, 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 blah. All right. Well, so yeah, Theory and Waller continue to have issues. That does look like it's a program that is about to run its course, even though they just got started. I actually don't want A-Town Down Under to split up really in the next few months. I mean, I would keep it going. There's no need to move them at all, but of course you have to have opponents for them. All right. What else did we get? Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. You're kind of your typical Jade matchup to this point. While at first I was a bit concerned that she would have a bit of a Goldberg depth of maneuvers, I have been proven to be wrong, and I think that she has improved every week since she has come on and shown that she can do more and is more confident, is more fluid in the ring. Again, most of the time I see her, that's the case. And yes, she doesn't have the long form match yet, and she's just been hot tagged in, and this duo with Bianca is eventually destined to collapse, where Bianca or Jade turn heel and we're going to get a one-on-one. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. But when you look at this, right now, Jade needs Bianca. And Bianca, I don't think she's being hurt by being with Jade at all. I know people say, oh, it's beneath her. Well, not really. Number one, she's a champion. Yes, she's a women's tag team champion. So that, for those of you that don't count that as a real championship, I guess that doesn't matter. But she still is by definition, a women's champion. She is tagging with one of the biggest acquisitions of WWE over the last 12 to 18 months. Eventually this tag team is going to break down and one of them is turning heel to headline a PLE against one another. That's going to happen. She's also helping to build a new star. What's the shame in that one? I think that her helping build a new star is admirable and is something that's an acquired skill that, as you progress in your career, you don't really think about because you're always thinking about yourself. But I think her and Jade could really have something here. And I wouldn't anticipate, honestly, Jade and Bianca losing those tag team championships. I mean, maybe Survivor Series leading into the Rumble, which leads to Mania. So I mean, honestly, I could see them holding it for another what's Survivor Series in November? What the hell is today? June. So another 5 months. I could. You know what they're also doing? They are adding prestige, adding value to a otherwise worthless championship that so many have made fun of and don't really believe is a real championship because WWE has not really made you feel that way. So, there's really nothing negative coming from this pairing. It's helping everyone, including the championships themselves. It's going to come to a point where there's going to be like, who can beat them? They're going to run through opponents pretty damn quick. So, anyway, in this match here with Jade and Bianca versus Indy and Candice, obviously, Jade and Bianca beat Indy and Candice after Jade and Bianca hit their finish with a combo DDT and a wheelbarrow suplex, which is a fine finish. It's unique, absolutely. I have no qualms about it. I think they work very well together, and they're starting to really gel. And I think Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae played their part well too. All right, but there were shenanigans after the match because the women at ringside all entered the ring, which were Zoe Stark, Shayna Baszler, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire. They all entered the ring and they cleared Jade and Bianca out, but then they started brawling with one another. And then Jade and Bianca recovered and put down Dawn and Fire with a combo of the KOD and Jaded. So despite the victory, then being beat down, they ended up still standing tall at the end of the day with their championships and feeling good about life. So I've got high hopes for this team. All right. So we then get to, let's see, Kevin Owens coming out and trying to attack. That happened earlier. Kevin Owens tried to attack the Bloodline. Obviously, that didn't work. And then the Street Profits come down and they tried to help. And that's how we got to the 6-man tag team match at the end of the night, which, let's see here, as I continue down, we went, what was it, 10 minutes? Something like that. I remember looking at the looking at the SmackDown ticker on my show, and it looked like it was about 10 minutes. And it was an entertaining match. I mean, how can it not be? These 4 men really killed themselves, including, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford. Couldn't think of his name. And I think they did a nice job too, even though they haven't got any mic time either. They're just kind of these robots that just come out at times and do random stuff. It feels like they don't have a direction. They're just kind of floating around, but they still get a good pop, and their entrance music is fun, and they're an entertaining team. I don't know why that they put them in the positions they do, but you look at them and go, yeah, there's no chance they're going to win here against the Bloodline. You have to have Solo's Bloodline looking as strong and as dominant as possible if you're going to bring back a star the caliber of Roman Reigns, who is going to, yes, oppose this new Bloodline that we all know is coming, and that's fine. Here's a perfect example, by the way, and I've given a couple of these over the last week or two. Those of you that complain, wrestling sucks because it's too predictable. All right. Then I would assume that you know that this is being set up, this Bloodline story, for Roman to return and have his OG Bloodline face the new Bloodline, right? I'm sure you have figured that out. Pretty easy to see. Are you not excited about it, though? Of course you are. Of course you are. Why do you think people are chanting, "We want Roman"? Because they can see this matchup. They can taste it. They can feel it. They're within an arm's reach, right? They know what's coming and they want to see it. So there is your smoking gun proof that by definition, predictability doesn't just in and of itself kill the interest in pro wrestling. In fact, I would argue some of the best moments are the ones you see coming, that you anticipate, that you want to see what's going to happen. You know it's here. You know it's about to happen. For example, I'm thinking of this another one off the top of my head that everyone knew was coming. Undertaker returns at WrestleMania 20. He was originally the American Badass. You knew he was going to come back as the Dead Man. You want to see what that looked like. And we all knew that was going to happen, and we got it. Right? We got it, and it was awesome. I was there. But so I guess there's probably countless other examples. I'm just too tired to think of more, but countless examples of predictable things that we saw coming that were still awesome. So again, I'm not advocating for predictability all the time. That's not my point. My point is that predictability by itself, by definition, is not the killer of pro wrestling that a lot of people make it out to be or complain about. But anyway, let's see. KO, KO also didn't get a whole lot of mic time this week either. We kind of know his position though. He's just take down the Bloodline, take a pound of flesh, never stop fighting, yada yada. And that's fine. Kevin Owens is still also a fun character. He hit the stunner on Solo Sikoa, which was a bit surprising, but he ends up getting his ass kicked. The "We want Roman" chants. We want Roman. We want Roman. We want Roman. Guys, it's building. The groundswell movement for Roman Reigns' return it's getting to a boiling point, and it's fun to watch and feel and be a part of. All right. So that is SmackDown, in a nutshell. We got the Raw side of things, and I'll kind of hammer through this quickly. We got a lot of the highlights of Liv and Dom, and we all know how fun this has been. For most people, I know some of you don't like it, but I think generally it's been positively received, with Liv finding her spot here in life. It's just, there's been so many times that Liv has been reinvented and redone and repackaged. Whatever this version of Liv is working. So I wouldn't touch this, but Liv and Dom seem to be working very well together. How long have they been working together? Is Dom just eventually going to tell Rhea Ripley he was lying and that he was secret? I mean, where does this end? It's going to be fun to think about. Let's see. So we've got Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser, and that ended with Sheamus losing to Ludwig Kaiser in about 13 minutes and 45 seconds after Kaiser got a roll-up on Sheamus. I don't know. I don't understand the need, I have to say, to always make people whole, as they say, meaning protected in a loss. Why? What at Sheamus's, in this point in his life and his career, do we need to protect him from? Ludwig Kaiser, who is a lot younger and has, the sky's the limit potential? I never understood that. Like with Randy Orton not getting a clean loss, giving a clean loss to Gunther for the King of the Ring final. Why? If you're going to have those men lose, they can't be broken. There's no need to worry about making them whole. They are forever solidified in WWE lore. But, all right, moving on. We get the QR codes. There were some QR codes this week and last week, and we get QR codes here and there. We can hope that we get the Wyatt Six debut or the Uncle Howdy debut, whatever this group is, at Clash. I hope. All right, we got Dragon Lee versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor ends up beating Dragon Lee in 8.5 minutes after his coup de grace finish. And then after the match, Braun Strowman and Rey Mysterio came out, and that's one big white son of a blank, McAfee said. And Rey stayed at ringside while Strowman entered the ring and put down all three heels on his own while wearing one big SOB t-shirt. So very perfectly coincided, of course, with the announcement of from McAfee. But all right, so we move on here, and we get. I'm trying to think of the matches here, not so much the backstage stuff, but we did get the Maxine Dupree and Alpha Academy and Sami Zayn segment again, where Sammy's trying to talk sense into both Otis, or not both, but all three, Otis and Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. He's trying. Maybe, you know what, it might help if he yells louder. Maybe they just can't hear him. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why, they're not breaking free from Otis, or from Chad Gable rather. Maybe that's the reason. Maybe Sami Zayn just needs to yell more in his promos. I'm being a jerk, by the way. But in all seriousness, this Chad Gable story, as I said on my Monday Night Raw review last week, has been an absolute joy to watch. Everything from the premise to the execution to the buildup of Otis eventually turning. There's another predictable outcome we see coming, but don't care and want to see. All right, so many to count. So this, again, Chad Gable's doing career work. Chad Gable is on another level. We'll see if that holds. We'll see if after this payoff is done that he goes back into obscurity. I hope not. But right now, the Chad Gable group and Chad himself have been very entertaining. And you just want to see Otis finally snap. But so far, he's sided with Chad. So far, Otis's loyalties, although have been stretched, continue to lie with Chad. I think that'll change on Saturday. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. All right. We then have, Bron Breakker versus Ricochet. Bron Breakker beats Ricochet in 8 minutes after he speared and pinned Ricochet. There's lots of speculation that since Ricochet's contract expired with WWE, that's we're going to have Samantha Irvin also follow suit. That has been kind of the news and trends on X today. And to all that, I'd say, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But Bron Breakker destroys Ricochet, which is always fun to watch. Kiana James versus Natalya, where Kiana James beats Natalya in 2 minutes and 55 seconds. Braun Strowman beats Carlito in 1 minute and 30 seconds. We got Bianca and Jade versus Shayna and Zoe for the women's tag team titles, where obviously Bianca and Jade retain those titles. As I've continued to say, Jade and Bianca aren't losing those belts for several months. I mean, especially the fact that Jade's not ready to be single star yet. She's just not, and that's fine. All right. Let's see. But Jay does and has started talking about Money in the Bank. He actually, he basically declared himself for the match. Apparently, you can just declare yourself for the Money in the Bank now. Like Michael Scott declaring ourselves for bankruptcy. Please tell me we have some Office fans out there. I've been really back into The Office lately. It's a show that just sucks you back in. It's so good. They're doing some kind of weird spinoff, or not, I don't know if spinoff is the right word, but anyway. So, I think that you have Jey Uso talking about Money in the Bank. He is going to eventually come back to fight alongside Roman and make amends with Jay or Jimmy. They'll be reunited to help fight this new cancer of a bloodline off. By the way, there's a new right-hand man in the new bloodline. That was a nice touch, right? It's a callback to Jay. So Jay and Tama Tonga will likely cross paths very soon. So, by the way, I think Jay put out a poll on X about how do you want me to refer to Money in the Bank briefcase? Is it Yeet in the Bank or what is it? Money in the Yeet. He's trying to figure out the best way to say it so he can sell more t-shirts. But hey, what better way to figure out what your audience wants than ask them? So I have no problem with it. All right. Let's see. AOP versus the New Day. Can't believe the New Day are still a thing. We get AOP beating the New Day in 2.5 minutes, so hallelujah. Let's see. We got Damian Priest versus Rey Mysterio in a non-title match where Damian Priest beats Rey Mysterio in 13 minutes and 30 seconds, as he should. He's going into a title match at Clash at the Castle. He needs to look as strong as possible. Rey Mysterio is impenetrable at this point in his career, just like Randy Orton, just like Sheamus before him that I've mentioned. These guys can afford clean losses. It's not going to do a damn thing to hurt their career. But, all right. I'm surprised we didn't get another post-match kiss, by the way, with Liv and Dom. I thought for sure we would, but I guess they're waiting for that payoff maybe on Saturday, where it's going to turn out that Dom has been working with Liv all along, or maybe that'll happen on Raw after. I'm not sure. But Dom, in all of his, obviously defects in his personality, this is one of them, where he's cheating on Rhea with Liv. It's going to be fun to watch. And boy, does it even make you want Rhea to return even more. My God. Think of all these returns that are just pending that you just can't wait for. Rhea, Rock, Roman, Brock even's out there. As I keep mentioning these every week, but you got to remember, guys, there's so many people out there that have not come. Charlotte, for those of you that are interested in the women's division on probably SmackDown. So there's a lot of interesting cats out there that have yet to come back. So there's some fun to be had as we move deeper into the summer. And I'm looking forward to it. Alrighty, that'll do it for me on the Weekend Review here, everybody. Thank you so much. Again, I know it's a Weekend Review. I didn't get to every little thing, every little backstage segment. It's just not feasible, right? I touch on the matches. I go through some of the big ticket items, but I don't go through every fine detail. I just don't have the time. So, but I hope you enjoyed this. And if you want to go ad free and join a lot of the other patrons, including getting a Discord server that you have access to throughout the PLE and really throughout any time, it's open 24/7. That access to the Discord server is exclusive to Patreon members. And if you're a patron and you don't have access to the server, just send me a message. I'll send you a link. You can get right in instantly. Then I think you'll enjoy the ad-free stuff as well and the exclusive shows that we produce. Thanks so much, everybody. I really do appreciate it. I will be back with your nostalgia tomorrow. That'll be a rerun, but it'll hopefully be something you haven't heard before with some old wrestling. When I say old, I'm talking Attitude Era / Ruthless Aggression. So that, and then I'll be back on Tuesday live and in living color. That's not a thing anymore. All right. I'll be back Tuesday with your Raw review. Take care, everyone. Talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.